JobTread doesn't get messy because your team doesn't care. JobTread gets messy because no one owns it. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about how to make sure that your JobTread doesn't stay messy, because most of the clients that we have worked with started out with great intentions when it came to JobTread. They wanted a software that could help them manage their projects, and it turned into going back to spreadsheets simply because the software was overwhelming. And so in today's video, I want to talk with you about how you can make sure that you stay within JobTread, how you made the decision already to start using it, and how you can keep making that decision. So the very first thing that you need to do is task somebody on the team to take ownership of the software. And this does not have to be you. Believe it or not, most owners think that they have to own the software, when in fact, you're probably the worst one to own that software. Trust me, I've been there with our business. I thought that I needed to know everything about JobTread in order to be able to help support other remodelers with their JobTread software, when in fact, I didn't need to know everything. I had a team that was capable of that. I needed to set the vision, to handle sales, to make sure that we understood our clients, not what were the nuts and bolts behind the software. And so you, as the business owner, you don't need to be the one that owns JobTread, but somebody on your team needs to own that. They need to make sure that that system stays intact. Make sure that system stays clean. Make sure that everybody keeps using the system. You bought it, you're paying for it. Use the system. So the very first thing is making sure that somebody actually owns the software and is the head of the JobTread software for your company. This includes all updates, adding in new features, trying to create more systems within JobTread. When you're first starting out, you really want to get your estimates down. And then from there, you can start to work on having the schedules together and then having selections and workflows, but don't try and do it all at once. That's the problem that we see a lot of business owners run into. And even somebody, if they do have somebody own it, that person doesn't make sure that things get rolled out over time. You don't need to roll everything out. JobTread is a huge software. So by allowing that one person to own it, they can look at the software and see what you're using and make sure to get that down and systematized with all the members on your team first. The second thing is that each job is handled differently. So you're going in, you're putting these jobs in, and again, you have that one owner, but maybe they haven't gotten to this point yet. And this is why it's messy, is because the jobs are different every time. And I get it, you're a home remodeler, you're doing custom remodels, but there's still some way, shape, or form that everything should be done the same. You should have an estimating process. You should have a process to start doing your takeoffs. You're gonna have your selections when it comes to what it is that you're going to do, what materials are going to be on that job, and then finally you start that job. Those things are all about the same. They may look different. Every material list may be different. You may have different subs because of the time of year, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's all exactly the same. And then you're out there on the site doing the work, and then finally you close out the job. All of those are the same, so you can systematize the parameters around the job and think about it like a football field. Well, if you were just to say, hey, try and get to the end zone, but you go as far and as wide as you want to, and you can go way around out of bounds what a football field would be, how hard would it be as a defender to defend the offense from trying to score a touchdown when they could just run as wide as they wanted as long as they ran 100 yards? It'd be pretty darn tough. So you have to make sure that you have these parameters of what you're trying to do, keep it within the football field, and then anything that happens inside there, okay, maybe it's different because the project's different, it's a new custom job, but as long as it's in these parameters, you're going to be able to have these jobs be less messy, and you're going to be able to utilize JobTread more because of that. And so by creating the systems for each job to start looking the same from a big picture view, it'll help your JobTread stay less messy. The third thing about why your JobTread's messy is because it's people problems and not software problems. You're trying to create software that's going to mitigate the people issues. Unfortunately, software is very much ones and zeros. It's true or false. There's no in between. There's no gray area. So when you're creating software, it's not about trying to think about every single little situation. The more you can think of, the better. But at the end of the day, you can't make your software so specific that there's no way to create any kind of gray areas. So your software isn't about fixing human problems. It's about making sure that you're repeatable, that you continue to do the same thing. And when you have a repeatable process, you can then work on the people side of that. As an example, with us on sales calls, I was starting to get inundated with a bunch of sales calls. And my team decided, you know what, because Philip's missing asking certain type of questions, we're going to create a form so we can make sure that we have the information we need from the client before we get started with an audit or we get started with a job. And when I saw the form, I told them, guys, the problem isn't that we need to create more systems. The problem is that I'm not actually capturing the information you need. So I took note of what they wanted to put on the form, and then I just fixed myself. So a lot of times we try and get software and we think that, oh, we're gonna put all these little things in and it's gonna fix the people. But it's not. The people have to fix themselves. And when they fix themselves, the software will work. So make sure that you're not making your JobTread so complicated because you're trying to fix people. Because you're never gonna fix people with software. It's only gonna make everything that much more difficult. And so remember that any messy system, it doesn't matter how robust you make it, it doesn't matter how much automation you make in it. If it's a messy system, the problem is always going to come back to you. You as the owner of the business. Unfortunately, you're where the buck stops. And just because you got a great software like JobTread doesn't mean that everything's fixed, that you're not going to see any problems. And deep down, I know that you know that. I know that you understand that there are still going to be problems that arise. But just because you get a software doesn't mean that things are fixed. And especially if your software is messy, you're really going to see a lot more problems than you expected. So make sure, in order to keep your software, your JobTread software clean, make sure that somebody owns it. Make sure that your jobs are handled exactly the same way within the software. And make sure that your software is meant to make decisions and standardize things within your processes, not trying to fix the people. If any of this has resonated with you at all, comment messy below. I want to see those of you that have struggled like we have in our business with keeping a messy software and not putting these things in place.